But the comments like they should have built a hospital or some institution that's useful for people instead of the temple, right?
Yeah.
Those remarks also come and sort of influence other people also. Like normally I don't want to talk about these things, but I felt to share here.
No. It's very prevalent everywhere. These discussions are having. To start off, my view always is there is no one answer to anything. And that's what Hinduism stands for, Vedanta stands for, Sanatan Dharma stands for. That ekam satyam vipra bahuta vadanti. The truth is one, but the holy ones or the wise ones talk about in different ways. The manifested world has duality. It is, there has to be at least two opinions, if not more. But there is a context and a timing and a necessity, not everything is right at any time. So this Ram Janmabhoomi thing, there are several arguments. The few things I would like to touch upon, at a social level, at a political level, and at a psychological level, at a spiritual level. Now, politically, we have to think of this as a civilizational thing. So India was, or Bharat, or whatever you call it, was attacked by external forces, and this sense of peace and appeasement, which Hinduism and Vedanta in India always stood for, did not help it at that point when they were politically attacked. So that this is a civilizational mistake that is being corrected, because in a world of politics, it's power. Whether you like it or not, either you survive or you kill. And India has never, ever gone and conquered another nation. What it thought is other people are going to do the same, but they were rudely mistaken when people came over into an accepting culture and demolished and decimated everything. So this is the time. It took them 1,000 years to realize that no, we have to protect ourselves, because in India and Hinduism's survival depends the whole world's concept of tolerance, because no other religion talks about tolerance like Hinduism does. So this is not for India alone, because India embodies, symbolizes tolerance. And if it doesn't protect itself, every scripture, even our Bhagavad Gita, what did Krishna say to Arjuna? Run away. No, this is your duty to protect yourself, your body, protect your family, protect your community, and protect your country. So it took India 1,000 years to realize that other people came, marauding people, and a destroyed thing. If you look at northern India, such a rich culture with all the Vedas, Vedantas, not a single old ancient temple. Why? Repeatedly they were destroyed. And if it was just destroyed in the process of a war, that's okay, because when there's a war, buildings and monuments get, but this was deliberately destroyed, and victory monuments were placed on top of that. So this is not just, let bygones be bygones, because a nation and a country and a group of people felt chained to it's impossible. We cannot assert ourselves. We are not good enough. We have to adopt some other religion, some other philosophy to survive. So it has taken them a long time from a civilizational political perspective. Now, from a social perspective, to anywhere you see where grave injustice was done, the Holocaust to the Jews in the Second World War, how many monuments they have to acknowledge that something was bad happened. When we ask people, forget about what happened, that was 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, move on. But you cannot move on if your pain is not acknowledged, right? So here, the same thing happened to the Kashmiri, Pandits. Yeah. For so long, Kashmir as a nation, as a state, could not grow because that pain was not addressed. Yeah. You have to address a pain. What do we teach in coaching? You can't just be in denial. You can't just say move on. You have to acknowledge. You have to admit that there is pain. You have to acknowledge it. You have to release it, and you move on. And the release sometimes is reasserting your own self-worth. This is reasserting your self-worth as a nation, as a philosophy, And as a, we are living, people are still living there. In front of them, their places of worship were demolished. And you're telling that they should not
One
revive
of the
it?
most important ones.
Yes. And then we are talking about psychologically, because people, the Indians felt chained. They're brilliant, a nation of brilliant people. But for the longest time under colonization of first, so many, the Muslims came, the Mughals came, sorry, and then the British came. So because they never stood up, this appeasement policy, okay, give everything. You realize that if you keep feeding biscuit to a mad dog, it will come and bite you. It's not going to go away.
Yeah.
So if somebody attacks you and you never protect yourself, never push back, you will be attacked and you will lose your identity, you will lose your security, you will lose your self-esteem. So from that perspective, now spiritually, Ram is not a personality. Ram is Rameti iti Ramam, that inner bliss that resides in each of us. And even if you think of it as a personality, as an avatar, what he stands for, he went to Lanka. He went to conquer, but India's policy, we want to remember that policy, that if there is injustice somewhere, go fix the injustice, but come back. Don't colonize that place. Ram did not stay in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
He put their own people there and came back. And if this personality or this avatara or this metaphor or whatever you call it has survived 7,000 years, despite every attempt to decimate it and remove it, so there must be some power in that idea. There must be some power in that word. There must be some power in that concept. Spiritually, its time has come. And now coming to the common, arguments that people say that, oh, you should build a school or a hospital or something else. Yes, of course we should. But the nature of the needs of human beings are such that no country, not even America, the richest country in the world currently, can take care of all its people. You know how many pockets of poverty there are, but you mean to say they won't have space program, they won't have medical things? So you have to balance different things in life. No matter how many hospitals you build, not all disease and will go away, nor will all the people's medical problems will go away. But what you are not understanding is you need a spiritual place where when everything else fails, people turn to. So when things are going well, hospitals are fine, doctors are fine, money is fine. But when there are times when even all the best hospitals in the world cannot heal you or your loved one, where do you go then? There must be some place that you look up to, and miracles have happened. I'm not saying that is the only thing. So yeah, there are so many reasons.
Also, like people can say that God is everywhere. Like that belief is also there, but understanding that everybody's the way they show the faith or devotion is different, right? Like said, there are many ways you can connect with the God, and many people need that kind of worship.
Not just that, many people, like most people, because it's very difficult, only 0.01% of the human beings can focus and meditate on a formless and nameless thing. So why in the military and in countries, why do you have the flag? Why do you have the emblem? Why do you have a government seal? It's everywhere. Government of America is everywhere. But in middle school, what do you call elementary school, middle school, why do you do Pledge of Allegiance? Why do you stand in front of a flag and do? That is not America. But it reminds you of what America stands for. So most human beings need a form to focus on, to understand what is it that we are looking up to, that we are imbibing, cultivating, and asking for help from. What is the principle standing behind that? So every country has its identity. Why? We just know America. There should not be any stars and stripes or anything for that matter, right?
That's what the chaos happened, right? When it was not clear before, right?
No, you look at it.
Even if from the history point, if you say, forget about the religion. All the monuments were broken. Like even if people don't value temples, like from that point also, but all of that was part of India before, and everything was broken.
Yeah.
Why could the mosques not be built on a separate land? Why it was broken and then built? So people don't understand that kind of mindset, that it was done in a planned way to break, because if you break the faith of people, then they will be lost. So it's easier to your own empire there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And like you, like we discussed correctly, that this is, being politicized as Hindu Muslims. There is
Yeah,
nothing,
not
because
Hindus.
most of the Muslims in India, their predecessors were Hindus. So
And
you
they were
have to build a
forcefully
context.
converted, right? They
Yes,
were
the
forcefully
invaders
converted.
versus those who are.
Mm.
As a good Muslim, I know many Muslim friends of ours who says, if your neighbor's house is broken, will you say, forget it? This is Hindu Muslim and Hindu house is broken. We should not restore it.
No.
So if a Hindu place of worship was demolished, how many Muslim workers have put in hours and hours building this beautiful temple? They didn't say no to that. So
No.
not everybody thinks that way. And it's you have to understand, this was invaders who invaded India and the residents of India saying that no, we will resurgent India, we will build ourselves back. Any place you go in Europe after Second World War, so many buildings and monuments were destroyed. Did they leave it like that? They
No.
rebuilt it. Why? It is necessary for the people, the psychology of the people, that we will live, we will grow again, we will thrive again, and we will move on.
Is the
Not,
mindset of the people, right?
yes,
That now
yes.
they feel some confidence.
Yeah. No, and other thing is, so much wastage we do when we go to restaurants, or schools or any places of food, eat all you can. We take food on the plate and we throw it. Nobody talks about that. When it comes to temples and spirituality, people talk about money all the time, right? And the other thing is, the same accusations were pointed at India when they did the Chandrayaan, the Mars mission. Oh, such a poor country. Not everybody is it. So you don't do science. So
No,
if
I
you
think
can pursue science, you have to pursue spirituality, you have to pursue social, services to the people. Everything has to be managed. Resources are always going to be limited. But that doesn't mean that you continuously just think about food and medicine all the time.
no. And also what you said, there'll always be at least two point of views. And
Yes.
it's okay, it's totally okay. The reason uh, this conversation is happening just to give a perspective. I wanted to bring this. But my understanding is that if we hear these kind of comments, there are two kind of people. One, maybe people from different faith, they are saying those things. And the other category is people who don't believe in anything, right? Atheists. These are the two people. So I feel that people who have genuine faith or belief from any religion, they won't make these kind of remarks, but because they will understand, right?
Yes.
Only when you're religious, but you don't have any spiritual concepts, right? Like you don't understand the true nature of your being, and then you make these comments and make these points because you're just being orthodox, right? And
More than orthodoxy, any relationship or a project is at the mercy of the person who least cares about it. So those who don't believe in marriages, they'll say, how does it matter? Have as many relationships as you want. Send the children here, send the children there, have multiple partners. I'm not
easy for
saying
them
it's
to say.
good or bad, but those who believe in marriage, they say, no, we want rules and regulations. These are the do's, these are the don'ts, this is expected. So both sides are okay, but you can't tell the ones who believe in marriage that marriage is useless.
Yeah.
Or those who believe in education and those who don't, saying that why should you study? Just enjoy life. So, you must understand that there are 2 points of views, and to whom this matters, it matters.
And like you said, there's a right time for this. This is not the time to
Yes.
talk
And
about.
India tried appeasement for thousands of years, did not work. They learned a
It doesn't
painful
work. It
lesson
doesn't
that
work.
if you are not willing to fight for yourself, nobody is going to
Nobody.
raise a finger. And you are not going into other people's. India has never gone into any country and brought back, but it had also never defended itself to the point it should have, and it learned a very painful lesson that no God is going to come and protect you if you are not willing to protect yourself.
Yeah, you have to stand up. The other thing is also, I feel this also comes from a mindset, practical mindset, logical, and all. This is how people talk, right? But this whole thing is beyond logic. This is what I feel, right? This is not, you cannot explain faith using your mind, right? So people who have not experienced devotion and spirituality, they can't value that, I feel. And for example, sugar. If you have not tasted sugar, how will you know the taste, right? Even if I give you all the gyan for sugar, this is so good, so nice, and everything, it tastes so sweet and all. But if you have not tasted it, you will not understand it, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing where we have to understand it. It is okay if people are saying, because they've not yet experienced.
Yeah, no, that is true. But anybody who's intellectual must at least understand this much. What about the American national anthem? It talks about this, that Paul Revere, the whole night there was fighting and everybody thought the war was lost. But when they got up and in the morning they saw the Star Spangled Banner, renewed hope. So same thing, when everything goes down and you get up and you see your place of worship, whether it is a mandir or a masjid or a synagogue or a church, it gives you renewed faith. So that physical form is required to say yes.
Yeah.
No, but it is required.
People who believe, right, who have like that emotional thing, right? But people who are atheist, they won't connect with
They
anything.
may not connect with spirituality, but they connect with something that is,
Yeah,
atheists have something that they swear by, whether it is studying, whether it is relationship, whether it is eating, whether it is singing, something, and you want to see it in some form and want to believe in it and want enduring legacy of it.
yeah.
Like you talk, those who like to eat food, like Epicureans, food, see pictures, but not a single restaurant. You cannot eat anywhere. You cannot go, just look at the food or just think about food. Why do you have to look at pictures?
Yeah.
Because it's important. That's important to you. So
Okay.
you have to look at it. You have to talk about it. You have to go to a restaurant. Why? You can't go to one restaurant. Every week you have to go to a different restaurant. Why? Because that's what gives you energy. So can you understand something else? People derive energy from something else also.
Right. Yeah. I think there are a lot of perspective. The other thing is I feel that, it's only if it's just what color glasses you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
If it is red, you're gonna see red. If it is blue, you're gonna see the blue. So we can't change that also very easily. So I think the best way is to be happy and really enjoy this time and celebrate and rest whatever is meant to happen. I really strongly feel that this is a very good sign, and for India it's really amazing accomplishment under Modi. And yeah, so I think looking forward to the further growth in India.
Yes, absolutely. I think India's time has come. It is a resurgent India, brilliant people, hardworking people, spiritual people, and they will make as long as one community doesn't feel unfairly, they were, persecuted. They were given, this is my understanding, that separate land was given
Yeah.
and everything was
Yeah.
done. And even all over Europe, if you go and see sites, in Spain and Italy and other places, the Christian and Muslim invasions, there are layers and layers. That is the, what is it called? Modus operandi. That's how they've done civilizational battles, right? But in India, that's not common. They've never gone and taken over anybody's place of worship and reinstated themselves on top of that.
Yeah.
So if they're asking, can we have our place of worship back? I don't think it's such a bad thing they're asking for.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then talking about hospitals and schools, no country has all the resources to only keep building hospitals and schools and food banks. They will have to dedicate time for science. I mean, dedicate resources for science. They have to dedicate resources for spirituality as well, because when everything else fails, people turn to spirituality. And when you need it, there won't be a temple or a church or a synagogue or a masjid standing for you. You have to build it before you need it. And connect with it on a daily basis so that you actually turn to it. And we know many people, there are stories galore where people, when everything has failed, their faith has got them through the worst dark night of their soul.
Yeah, that is the ultimate reality. And I think the way to go is that you value your faith or belief, but also respect others and
Yes,
live and
absolutely.
live. I think that is the only way to go.
Living and
But
letting
we
live,
cannot
yes.
say that stop all the religion practices and stop this is not working out, this is not good, because
No,
it's
and I feel that secular word is kind of mistaken. People have come to believe that secular means that the government should not be involved in any religious activities. My ideal situation is government allows every religion, not no religion, but every religion. Because we've seen what has happened to places like, China and communist countries. And, there's a lot of angst and lot of anxiety, lot of ever since they've wiped out religion and spirituality also, and there's a lot of issues there as well. It's not like a country without religion is the happiest and the most prosperous, and no, we haven't seen that in any of the communist countries, and
I
there's no
think,
religion there either.
yeah, I think freedom to express and
Freedom to express, freedom to worship, and freedom allow others and
others.
yours. So
Yeah.
sometimes, I think
Don't
India was the
complain if others are doing their practices or they are happy.
yeah.
I think that is the
We
last
are
thing
the
people
only
should do.
country in the world where the majority was under attack or felt under attack all the time, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah. I think this is just I think it was a phase, but before that, like 500 years ago, it was a different phase, right? Like for India.
yeah. And who's to say this is going to last forever? Right now, this is what is happening. So there is this law of rhythm. There is nothing that will continue forever. Neither you nor I, nor the temples, nor the legacies. But look at I just recently came back from a trip to Egypt. What happened? They were the most powerful, most prosperous. Look at the structures, megalithic structures. And for centuries it was gone. Now there's a resurgence. It's coming back. Everybody's running to see those pyramids.
Yeah.
So there is
Cycle.
cyclic life and universe, and everything goes in cycles. There'll be ups and downs. And
Now, so many
I
people will
think,
go to India, to Ayodhya, and now
yeah.
to the temple, right? So
No, and also from a very practical point of view, it has going to spur, excite people to go and visit. It's going to become a tourist spot. It's going to give jobs to so many people. So many karigars and craftsmen have been, employed. I think even practically and economically, it's a
really good decision, and
win-win
already we are
decision.
seeing the difference in Ayodhya. So it's a hospital thing is not working out this argument
Yeah.
totally. But yeah, so anyways, thank you so much, Neeta, for this quick chat. And